Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Pat. I'm coming back to you once again. This time I'm going to go back over to We Got This Covered, and I will list the article writer and all of the details in the description, as I always do. This is in the celebrities column. Uh, it says wrongfully injected Parton J. Sixer, rioter, says he was slowly becoming a woman in prison, and doctors are to blame. Yes, you heard me right. Child. A convicted January 6th rioter, now pardoned by Donald Trump, has filed a federal lawsuit against the United States, claiming that prison doctors wrongfully injected him with female hormones that caused his body to change against his will. The case, filed September 5th in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, comes from Andrew Quinton Takey, a Texas man sentenced to prison for assaulting officers during the attack on the Capitol. After being pardoned by Donald Trump, Takey was rearrested in 2016, charged of soliciting a youngling. That case is ongoing. Okay. It says, according to the 30-page complaint, Takey now alleges that he began noticing physical changes shortly after medical staff at a federal facility gave him what he thought was standard treatments. He claims prison officials never told him the injections contained estrogen and other female hormones. Over time, Takey says he experienced breast development, testicular shrinkage, and other feminizing effects. The lawsuit describes these changes as a violation of his constitutional rights, calling it forced medical experimentation on a captive population. Takey had a perplexing medical condition, um, hypergonadism, a condition characterized by severely low testosterone levels. According to his federal lawsuit filed in September of 2025, doctors diagnosed Takey's hypergonadism as early as 2016. His prescribed treatment involved weekly testosterone injections. However, the lawsuit alleges that while incarcerated, the doctors administered him estrogen injections instead, which contradicted his prescribed treatment and led to the unintended physical changes. Takey insists he never consented to gender affirming care or hormone therapy. Instead, he argues that prison doctors ignored his concerns and failed to provide proper medical explanation. The complaint alleges that the Bureau of Prisons and its director, Colette S. Peters, acted with negligence and deliberate indifference, subjecting Takey to cruel and unusual punishment in violation of the Eighth Amendment. The lawsuit goes further, linking the alleged injections to emotional and physiological distress. The plaintiff slowly became a woman in prison without his knowledge or consent. The filing states after adding that Teki continued to suffer from anxiety, depression, identity confusion as a result. Teki is seeking unspecified damages and medical relief to halt the hormonal changes. Teki Jan Sixer. Teki was arrested in 2021 after federal investigators said he attacked Capitol Police officers with pepper spray and a whip like weapon. Has already drawn media attention for his role in the riot. Now his case adds an unusual twist to a growing number of lawsuits filed by January 6 defendants against the federal government, while many have complained about conditions in the DC jail or alleged political prosecution. Few have claimed involuntary medical transformations. Teki contends that inmates are routinely given injections without sufficient explanation or informed consent. He argues that such practices endanger vulnerable prisoners and could constitute systematic abuse. His attorney claims that if proven true, the allegations represent a major scandal for the Bureau of Prisons. Teki's lawyer faces steep challenges. He will have to prove both that he received hormonal injections without consent and that the physical changes he described were caused by those injections rather than other medical conditions. Federal agencies typically enjoy broad immunity from prison lawsuits unless plaintiff can show clear constitutional violations. The case is in its early stages and the government has not yet filed a response. It remains unclear whether the court will allow the claim to proceed to discovery or dismiss it at its outset. And that is the end of the article right there. And that is just a wild one for me. I had to post this. Um, you know, it is it's so many things. Like, okay, first, in 2006, he was uh, allegedly accused of soliciting a minor, um, which is terrible just to start off with. And like, ah, man, so many things I can say about that, but that is truly uh, disgusting. Uh, and the case is still ongoing. But you know, him attacking in the Capitol and him being arrested for it, and um, I'm unclear whether he was given injections in 2006 or was he given injections when he was later arrested in 2021. Um, that's one question that I will have. I'm pretty sure that the prison keeps some type of log or some type of system where they you know can tell what medicine was administered, what the dosage was, because they have to keep that for financial records as well. So I'm assuming that they have all that information there. Um, you know, I don't know. It's just a hard thing to do, and I find it very interesting that now these January 6ers, people that violently attacked Capitol are now putting all these lawsuits forward. I guess because uh, I'm assuming that they can't get any relief outright, and it would look very bad on the administration if they were just throw these people money. I'm not saying that all of them don't have legitimate claims, and I'm not saying that the gentleman in this story doesn't have a legitimate claim. However, I just find it very interesting that all these people are suing for something that they chose to take part and participate in of their own free will. And even though they chose to take part in it with their own free will to do so, um, the victimhood that they are, you know, actively displaying and crying out, things like that, but, you know, some of them, most of them are not apologetic for, you know, committing treason, in my opinion, and, storming the Capitol and, wanted to do some really serious damage and destruction, in my opinion, with no rule of law, disregard for other people and their well-being and their safety, just because they were upset about an election that was won fairly and square. So, I don't know, you guys. Let me know down in the comment section how you feel about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thank you so much for watching my videos. I truly do appreciate it. And with that, I'm about to head on out. But always remember, be good to yourself first.